Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here with you.
This is our first planning session. We've been wanting to do these on YouTube because we wanted to be able to help people like you, but also other people can watch and follow along, and maybe it helps them plan their trips too.
Awesome. I
So,
hope so, because this has been like super overwhelming. So I hope that by you helping me, I hope we can help other people as well.
yes, that is the idea, and we understand overwhelming. For context, when we started planning trips 20 years ago, it was very overwhelming, and it's a lot harder now. So,
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And it's funny because I know I shared with you that my father is coming with us, and his point of reference is when he took me when I was, I think, like age 6 or 7.
mhm.
And so I think he even realized like this is a whole different ball game, like whatever you decide, but I
Mhm.
can't be a part of this process of planning.
It is. It's much harder now, and it was harder 20 years ago. So we've got to just figure out how to make it less overwhelming. The way that we try to make things less overwhelming is to break it down into steps. So what I want to do is share a like planning worksheet that we like to use. Let me see if I can fit us all in here together. And it basically walks through all the different steps and goes, okay, what are your dates? What hotel are you staying at? What parks are you going to? And some of these decisions you've already made. So I want to just like at least talk through them. And then when we get to something where you're still questioning like what to do, we'll talk more.
Okay, sounds
So
great.
okay, so let's talk about who is going because you said it's your husband and your dad.
Yeah, so my husband and my dad, and then we have my husband and I have 3 children. Our oldest just turned 11, so fifth grade, and we have a 9-year-old in third grade, and then a 5-year-old kindergarten.
Okay. So it's one, two, three, four, five. Six plus
Yep,
Sarah.
yep, 6 total.
Okay. And so that's the group. And what dates did you decide that you're going to go?
So we are flying out super early Thursday, the 23rd. Is it 23rd? 23rd of April. So in just 2 weeks, 2 weeks from today.
Oh.
And then we're returning the following Thursday.
So April 23rd to the 30th.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you were in the phase of picking your dates, how did you decide on those dates?
Yes. So I can tell you, they have April school vacation, the main
Mm.
week that we're going to be there, and we had to bump it up a couple days early because I actually come back. We come back that Thursday, and Friday I need to fly to London for a work trip. So we adjusted our dates based off of me needing to be back for work, but wanting to go during their April school vacation.
Okay. All right. So the dates were mostly chosen for you.
Yeah.
So that decision becomes a quicker one. And then from there, where did you decide that you're going to stay?
So we are staying at Saratoga Springs. We landed on this because our group dynamic of 6 people. I had kind of advocated for why don't looking at the price point, why don't we just do 2 rooms next to each other, something more central? I think at the time we really didn't have the lay of the land and thought like maybe things were just going to be super close together. And I even recall myself at one point saying, well, like we're going to all the parks. So if we're far from one day, we'll be close to a different one a different day. In hindsight, I think we're feeling a little bit of angst about being so far away and with just the bus transportation, particularly if we're needing to take a midday break, which seems quite likely
Mhm.
given like what we're trying to accomplish. And but it was really that there's 6 of us. We wanted to stay in one space all together. And so we were kind of limited with what the options were for that.
So is that a 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom, something like
Two
that?
bedroom. Yeah, it's a 2 bedroom.
2 bedroom villa.
Yeah.
And did you book that directly through Disney or did you rent points?
No, so we actually did it, and I'm like spacing off the top of the name, but I had like picked up the phone one day and called a random planner, and she was just like, here are your options that have this like accommodation. Like if this like here, she like walked me through the different accommodation options. I went back to my dad and husband, and we kind of landed on like we want to do a 2 bedroom thing so we can all be in one space together.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm
At
trying to
the
build.
time, we were kind of like led to believe that perhaps things open up and we might be able to change and get somewhere. But if something did open up, it wasn't really in our price point.
Yeah. I get that. With this many people, it can be tricky to figure out a way to do it that is, you know, cost effective and allows all the people.
Yes. Yeah.
So I understand that. Okay. So, what are your biggest concerns about staying at Saratoga? It's just not being super close to the parks.
Yeah, yeah. I think it sounds like it's a lovely space and maybe a little bit quieter than the others. I think it's just the logistics of it, bus transportation, being a little further out there. Um, and if we did want to try to like rope drop one day but stay late, how do we manage that? Like that's a super duper long day. Um, and is it going to just take us hours of getting back to our space? Like by the time we get back, I think we're just going to be done. So I know there's options for maybe taking a break at other resorts, but I don't know if that's like as comfortable as going back to your own place.
Yeah, it's definitely a concern. I totally understand why you would be thinking that, but let's start talking about some of the logistics and see what we can figure out. You're only 2 weeks out from your trip, so you've already had to make a lot of decisions. I assume that includes parks that you're visiting.
Yeah, so we are approaching this as kind of like this is our one trip to Disney. We are never going back. Um, I will we'll see if anything changes with that, but that's our approach. So we want to make sure we get to all the parks. And this is my daughter here who's home, not feeling well.
Oh,
Um, but she's I think okay. Um so we know we want to get to all the parks, make the most of our time there. So we decided to do 5 park days. Not do the hopper though. We thought that would just be super like overwhelming and complicated. Let's just make sure we get one full day at each park. And then our current plan is to do an additional day at Magic Kingdom. The feedback we got from most of our friends was like, that's where most of the rides are. It's where you would want the most time. I think my husband and dad started to question if we should be doing 2 days at Hollywood Studios. At one point, I think we thought maybe we could divide and conquer a little bit, but then it seemed, I'm trying to remember now, but it seemed like we had to just make decisions about where we were going to do the day.
yeah.
So, can you help us fill in some of the days of your trip with park names?
Yes. Okay. So we're going to arrive on a Thursday, and then Friday, we're going to go to Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
Saturday is Animal Kingdom. Sunday will be a break. And then Monday is Epcot. Tuesday is back to Magic Kingdom. And then we saved Hollywood Studios for Wednesday because they have like their late hours that night that we're there.
Okay.
So that's how we kind of came up with that.
All right. Got it. And because she is staying at a Villa Resort, you are staying at Villa Resort, you are eligible for extended evening theme park hours for anyone watching that isn't aware. Okay. So then we would typically, after picking parks, visit or mapping out your days, we would start talking about where to eat. I assume that you have made some decisions about dining as well.
We did. Some of the decisions were to not make the decision. I think I was feeling just like, how can I predict who's going to be hungry and when? And I was like spending so much time trying to figure out the character dining stuff. And my kids, I don't even think they care about the characters, the older ones. But I thought it would be really fun to do a character dining meal. I know my dad enjoyed that when I was little. So we landed on doing it at Tusker House in Animal Kingdom during our Animal Kingdom day for
Is
dinner.
that dinner?
Yes.
Okay.
We have a 5:15 reservation, which I'm now just like, man, are we going to be exhausted and wanting to do that earlier? But that's so we reserved that. And then when I was looking at kind of our overall plan, it seems like our first Magic Kingdom day and our Hollywood Studio days were going to be really long and we would need a break. So I did make a reservation for around 5 for a sit down meal on both of those days. I'm now questioning if I maybe want to cancel that, like if we're actually going to end up back at our resort to like chill and then go back out at night. But I would love to. You can advise me on that.
What do you have for reservations on Magic Kingdom dinner?
So we booked, and I'm just double checking here to make sure I get it right. Is it Skipper Canteen? Is that?
Yeah.
I think that's what I booked at. Whoops, I'm going right past it. Yes. Okay. So Skipper Cantina, Magic Kingdom, and then Hollywood Studios. I picked the sci-fi dining one because I thought my dad would like that.
Oh,
Is that around 5 as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
5.
Okay, so 3 reservations.
3 reservations. That's all we did. I was at the first night, I was like, oh, we'll go to Saratoga or we'll go to Disney Springs and I should book something. And then I thought we just need to, I like a plan. My husband does not. He likes to just be able to roll with it. So I said, you know what? We will, if we need to eat by the pool or we'll cook or something, we'll not make a plan and just figure it out and hope for the best.
May I suggest that you could do a hybrid, which is some plans, but some open, flexible time?
How do I do that?
Well, you don't have to make reservations every day.
Yeah.
So you're not working up, like around reservations all the time. But when it comes to park touring, I think we really like having mornings structured and then the rest of the day more open.
Yeah.
So that way, like if you're at lunch, you can say, how are we feeling?
Yeah.
Like, are we hot? So we need to go back and get in the air conditioning or swim. Are we feeling good? So we want to stay here and let's get on some more rides. Like you can reevaluate, but the morning you hopefully would have already gotten quite a bit done.
yeah.
So that's what we'd like to suggest because planning the whole day can be so difficult and it's just not flexible.
And that's where I was thinking at the time. I think we were thinking we were gonna like just stay at the park through the day. So I was like, we should have a sit down. And I was thinking like, I don't know where people are gonna be at lunchtime and when they're gonna want lunch. And now in hindsight, I think you're absolutely right that probably like a lunchtime sit down would have been the better thing. And maybe we can change that. It's certainly worth looking into.
I think Skipper Canteen would be easy to adjust based on availability. Character meals are always a bit trickier because they're popular. But, a midday break can be great. But even if it's not a table service restaurant, you can sit down at a quick service place and just,
Yes.
take a break, see how things are going and make some decisions, but just leave it open.
Do you think though for quick service, I wouldn't make a reservation. I would just be able to do that in a moment. Yeah. Yeah.
No, and in fact, for people that want flexibility, sometimes they just do quick service because you can decide based on exactly where you are and what you're hungry for and everything. You know what? I'm going to order now.
Yes, and that was kind of where we defaulted to. It was like we will play the meals by ear and order
Yes.
when we need to.
I think our, sadness or frustration for people that haven't planned is that you get there and you're like, wait, I want to have lunch in the castle. It's like, no, some of that stuff
Yes.
you're gonna have to book ahead of time, but not everything.
Yeah,
a lot
and
of
that's
stuff.
where we're not like, yes, like it will be nice to have like a nice meal or two, but like we're not going for the food. So I don't think we're going to be sad if we like miss out on something in particular because we don't really know. So we wouldn't know what we're missing. So we're flexible. I did want to book the character meal, but the rest of it will be fine in terms of the food piece. And but yes, I do think we'll order something like a quick service during the day.
Yeah, and like I think that it has to be a benefit of walking through a trip plan like this is that there isn't one way to do things. So it's totally fine if you don't want to have a bunch of reservations. It's
Yeah.
your trip. Don't do it.
Yeah. Okay, but you think potentially those 2 5 p.m. dinners that I booked, maybe move those up to midday if it's possible.
Maybe just because you don't know exactly when you're going to be there for dinner. Like
Yeah.
you could still be at your resort if you are taking a break. But I think Heather was always a fan of the lunch reservation.
yeah, big fan of the lunchtime reservations on days when you plan to be in the park for a long time. And then another thing to keep in mind is that you do have that 2-hour cancellation window. So if you find that you get there and it's not worth it to stay until 5 o'clock, as long as you're canceling before that 2-hour window, you're not going to be charged anything.
Okay.
So that gives you a little bit more of a chance to be flexible as well. So you're not locked into it. You're not going to lose any money. Disney doesn't come after you. You just need to make sure that you get it canceled.
That's helpful. And I think as I'm like trying to remember our decision-making process, I think we were concerned that midday I think we were like, well, if kids are doing rides, like if things are going well, we don't want to pull them away
Yes.
from that and then like stop, be like, no, we can't continue. I think if everyone's going strong, we didn't want to
Yeah.
interfere with that. Yeah.
I mean, there's also something to be said with doing like an early afternoon meal and a snack on the go while you guys are hitting the rides hard while the lines are still at their shortest. So that's, I mean, that's an option too.
Yes. I'm going to end up with like 5 different reservations.
You won't be the only one that does that. Just make sure you cancel them so you don't get charged.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, and we may have gotten charged a few times because we forgot ourselves, but you totally can. They used to have a 24-hour cancellation policy, which is not nearly as convenient as a 2-hour one because at 2 hours out, you usually know if you're going to be able to make the reservation. 24 hours, I don't know.
Right. Right.
So yeah, that flexibility, yeah, you can definitely use that in your favor. Okay, so that's kind of step 4 normally of our 6-step planning process, which is just to like figure out your dining. And in your case, you have 3 table service reservations, and then you're going to fill it in with quick service and things like that.
Yeah.
So that, totally fine.
Can I
then,
ask, before we move on, can I ask one more question about the dining stuff though?
Yeah.
Are you planning to take advantage at all of your kitchen that you're going to have in your 2-bedroom for
Yes.
any of your meals? Okay,
Yeah.
so you're ordering groceries or doing
That is my
something.
plan. I haven't figured out like from where yet, but yes, our plan is breakfast we'll do there. Excuse me. I'm thinking that probably even that like first night, I might end up just like cooking something easy.
Yeah.
People will be exhausted. I think we have to like be at the airport at like 4:30 in the morning. So
Yeah.
yes, I am planning to do a grocery
Okay.
order. On our off day as well, we've scheduled nothing, and I think we'll end up doing, some eating in because like there's a limit to how much I really want to eat out anyways. So
Same, totally relatable.
yeah,
you said in your email that you have a Amazon account, and you can totally order your groceries through there if you want them delivered.
okay. I've never actually used that service through Amazon, so it'll be new. But it seemed like that was maybe the cheapest, easiest approach if I have Amazon Prime.
Yeah. Can we go back a little bit about, are you flying in?
Yes,
And how are you getting from the airport to your hotel?
I think an Uber.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd looked at one point. I thought I had seen that like a car was actually going to be pretty cheap because I think with our group size, it's going to be a big car or 2 of them.
Yeah.
But then when I actually went to price out the rental, it wasn't as cheap as I thought it was going to be. So I don't think we need a car. But if it was going to be cheaper than getting an Uber to and from the airport, I thought, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But on this arrival day, you're arriving at Orlando Airport, catching a ride share, and probably have groceries delivered to Saratoga
Yeah.
Springs, and then you might just eat at the hotel. You also mentioned earlier about the possibility of going to Disney Springs.
Yeah, I figured we would do that. Either that first day we arrive or on our off day at some point. But I ended up not booking a restaurant because again, I just didn't know how people were going to be feeling and when, and I wanted to allow for that flexibility where we could. Especially my kids love the pool. I know they're going to want to hang, and I don't want to be like everybody out of the pool. We have a reservation. If they're happy there and everyone's relaxed, then I want to keep it simple where we can because it seems like those park days are not so simple.
Okay. So that kind of covers a lot of your arrival day plans. Can we dive into your park days, like the actual touring of it? So would it be fair to say that lightning lanes are a tricky part of this?
Yes. I think my husband has finally like understood how it works, but we're still a little bit paralyzed when it goes to like making a plan around them. And especially with our 2 Magic Kingdom days, how best to kind of spread that out. Our initial thought was kind of like we're gonna rope drop and stay late for the fireworks on that first day. But now I'm like, is that crazy? But I think part of that rationale was that if we're staying, our next Magic Kingdom day is right before the Hollywood Studios late night. And my
Yeah.
youngest is 5. Like there's only so many late nights. I need to go to bed. So
Yeah. And it's also, I think it's a good for that reason. And it also, if you plan to stay on the first night, if something were to happen, and you aren't able to stay that first night, you would still have one more opportunity, one more
Yeah.
Magic Kingdom day as a backup plan. So I don't think it's a bad idea to try to figure out, even if you do sneak in a break, which I'm sure as we talk through this, we'll figure out the likelihood of that.
Yeah.
As far as your park plans, I talked about lightning lanes being difficult, which I totally understand. Did you say your kids aren't super into the characters, so they're not really going to factor into your park time?
They're really not like I think it will be great to see some of them, but I think like especially my older two is more about and my husband more about the rides. My youngest, I'm not sure. I think she's going to like the rides, but it's been like she has in the past, but it's been a little while since we've done them. We just measured her. I think she's 46 inches. So there's maybe like one or two rides that she's too small for, but she's otherwise okay. And I think she'll be game for most of them. I think I won't be game for all of them. And my dad as well. I said, it will be really helpful. He's been very flexible, very like, whatever you guys do will be great. And I said, a little bit, I need you to actually have an opinion. Like, if you want to do a ride, I want to make sure we book you a lightning lane. But if you don't want to go on a certain kind of ride, it's helpful for me to know so that we're not making a plan for you. So he did share, a few rides that he really would like to do if it's possible. I think though, he's not going to cry if something doesn't happen. I think he really does. He's along for the ride. And he's also the other piece with him is I think he doesn't know how long he'll last during the day. And so that's our other piece as we figured this out. It's not just our children's stamina, but my dad too. Is like I would hate to book him a lightning lane for something that he's like, I gotta go home. I'm too tired.
Yeah. Is he comfortable? He would be comfortable navigating on his own without you guys.
Oh yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, good. Then that gives him some flexibility
Yeah.
to do his own thing if he needs to, I guess then.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So in terms of lightning lanes, do you think that you're going to be getting it for all the parks or some of the parks?
I'm gonna do what you tell me to do. I think we are working from like the baseline. This is our one trip, so like let's make the most of it. And if it means spending a few extra dollars, we don't want to spend a ton of extra dollars if we don't need to. At the same time, we want to make this as easy and enjoyable as possible. So we're balancing that. And so we're willing to spend a few extra dollars if it takes the pressure off a little bit. I don't want to spend, and maybe this is just the reality of Disney, but like I don't want to spend all day just looking at my phone, scheduling rides, changing times. I recognize we're going to have to do some of that. And I do want to make sure that my husband and big kids get to do all the fun rides, that I know that that's what they'll enjoy the most.
Yes. Okay. So how do you want to do this? You want to talk park by park about like what you want to do or what questions you have about the lighting lanes?
Yeah, yeah. And I think I had shared with you kind of a friend who was amazing put together this plan. But even that, I think it's super helpful. But my husband looked at it and was just like, I don't want an itinerary for our vacation. I was like, I don't think that's how this, but like, this is just the reality. And so I think he does understand that. I think we both understand that, but we're still trying to reconcile the like rope drop strategy, if that even makes sense for us, with the lightning lane strategy. So, and I would say we want to do all of like the rides that you would think we want to do. And we don't care as much about like a carousel, I guess. Like we could ride that, or like the Dumbo one that looks like we could find that at any like amusement park. Unless I'm wrong. You tell me though if you're like, no, you must ride those rides.
No, I do want to share our lightning lane cheat sheets because we use these for our own trips as well. Like we created them, but we use them. And what I think it helps with is figuring out like, what do I book next? And that way, this post is so long. Let me keep scrolling. But the cheat sheets just help like, okay, we're at Magic Kingdom. Let me look at the Magic Kingdom graphic, which is this guy. So it helps to figure out when you're pre-booking, because 7 days before your trip dates, you would go online and you would say, okay, what do I want to do? And then you can use this to do that. Like, let me pick one of the tier ones and two of the tier twos. I'll get those at least booked So I know before my trip what I'm doing. And then when you're there and you're ready to book the next one, you can use a combination of this, where you're physically located in the parks, what you're interested in doing, and then just book the next one.
Yeah.
But if you want to leave and you don't want to book anything else, you don't have to do that either. So I think it's that hybrid that I mentioned earlier. You're going to have 3 pre-booked lightning lanes, but then from there you can decide how much more you want to do.
Yeah. And those pre-booked ones, you would suggest that we book them for the morning time.
And one benefit of that is that once you tap in for your first one, then you can book another one. So the earlier you start, the more chances you have to like get your money's worth
Yeah.
out of your lightning lane multi-pass. So yeah, we definitely like, going by these choices. So that's what we would suggest. So let's look at the tier 1s first. And so from this category, Jungle Cruise, Peter Pan's Flight, Tiana's, Big Thunder Mountain. Big Thunder Mountain doesn't officially open until after your trip. So let's ignore
Okay.
that one for a minute.
Okay,
And then
that's good to know.
we also have Space Mountain. It might be open during your trip as it's called a soft opening, but it's not going to be bookable with a lightning lane because it doesn't officially open until May 3rd.
Got it. So if it was
Okay.
open, would we see it pop up that day in the lightning lane option, or if we would just be standby?
Yeah.
Everybody would be standby.
Got it.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Soft opening is unofficial, so they just don't offer the lightning lanes during that time.
Yeah.
But you can get on it if it's running. But we've got Jungle Cruise, Peter Pan's Flight, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and Space Mountain as your tier 1 options.
Help
Go
me
ahead.
understand. 'Cause I think this is where I was getting stuck too, and I had watched or read some of your like rope drop strategy approach. So I was trying to kind of reconcile the like, what are we rope dropping? What are we starting with on the lightning lane? Do we not worry about rope dropping and just do the lightning lane? And does that take pressure off? And again, we do have 2 Magic Kingdom days. The cost of the lightning lane is, when you look at it for just one person, I was like, oh, that's not so bad. And then I was like, oh, times 6. Um, but that's the other thing, is I'm not certain that we all need it on the second day, but I don't know, but it sounds like we wouldn't want to wait to book it until after the first day though. We would want to make a plan when we go to book.
Yeah, it's tricky because Magic Kingdom is so popular. So we always say if it's in the budget, book the lightning lanes.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. But I would say, to your earlier comment about rope drop versus lightning lane, we really advise a combo of both.
Okay.
So, for instance, I have a personal preference to rope drop Peter Pan's Flight and then go to Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. They're both on this list, but if I'm doing it rope drop, I don't need a lightning lane.
Yeah. So you would start your lightning lanes later.
A little bit later, yes,
Yeah.
but not much. That's just the first 30 minutes is those 2 rides, hopefully. And then you can start sort of tapping in. So what would you say, Heather, on this list?
For good options for lightning lanes for them?
Tier 1.
For tier 1, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but you mentioned both you were interested in Peter Pan's Flight and Tiana's. Is that right? I'm trying to remember what I read.
Oh, I think we're interested in everything.
And everything, but just like as like high priority ones, were those, or am I making that up?
I think all of them. I'm like looking to see which one my dad had said that he wanted. There was like one, maybe it wasn't at Magic Kingdom. I think I've also kind of taken an approach of like, if we don't know, then we don't know what we're missing.
Yeah. Yes.
And so to some extent, like we're like, people, you hear what the good ones are.
Uh-huh.
But I haven't, like, my kids haven't spent time researching this. I think my youngest like heard about Tron, and so he's like, I got to do that. So great. But otherwise, like, what we want to do as much as we can, but if we
Okay.
don't make something, I don't think there will be tears.
Okay, then I agree with Shannon on doing Peter Pan's and Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh as a rope drop thing, and then making your tier 1 Tiana's. I
Okay.
think that would be a good tier 1 for you. And then if it's in the budget, doing it this way means that if you want to ride Seven Dwarfs, you're going to probably have to buy a single pass for that one.
Yes, we're prepared, and we're prepared
Okay.
to do that.
So
Yeah.
I would maybe split it up between your two Magic Kingdom days. Maybe do one single pass for your first day, and maybe do the other one for your second day.
Okay. Are there any, and like again, I haven't like researched them like so much. Are there any rides that are like super scary or super like upside down fast that maybe I don't want to do?
At any of the parks or specifically Magic Kingdom?
Magic Kingdom, since we're talking about that now.
Um, I would say none of them go upside down in Magic Kingdom. The only attraction in all of Disney World that goes upside down is going to be Rock and Roller Coaster, which isn't going to be open while you're there anyway. But Tron can be a little intense. It does have a launch that can kind of take your breath away. And just the ride vehicle itself is a little bit much. So I would encourage you to maybe try to catch at least a
Okay.
little bit of a video of that to see if you're interested in it. And then Space Mountain is another one because it's almost entirely in the dark. There's not a lot of light. It can
Okay.
be extremely rough, which can be a little off-putting to people. So
That was
that's just
open
something.
when I was a kid, right? That,
Space,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Okay. I remember I opted out of that as a child, and I will probably opt out as an adult.
Yeah, I tend to opt out of that one as well.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
um,
And maybe the 5-year-old, it might be,
yeah,
she might, and it's
yes.
hard to know. Yeah.
And that one, even though it's a tier one, it's not unusual to see that one available same day.
Okay.
So if you do have a couple people who want to ride it, and for example, you and your daughter, or you and your daughter and your father don't want to, um, for a bonus one, you can book them that, and you guys can go do something else that's nearby, like
Yeah.
that where you could use a lightning lane. So,
And
like
I did book for her actually the Bippity Bop
mhm,
Thingy Boutique.
boutique. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Which day and time is that?
That's our second day at Magic Kingdom at around 11:30.
Okay.
So the plan was like it would kind of get her out of the heat for a bit, and then the others could go do something that's more adventurous.
Yeah.
She's like now saying she like hates princesses, but I think she'll be into it.
Yeah.
So
Well, you're
Put 'em in
about to
that
find out.
environment. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I don't think
Let's,
so. I know everyone says like bring a dress. I don't think she'll wear. I don't think she'll want. I mean, I will, but like I don't think she'll. But we'll see.
yeah.
Yeah. So if you do Peter Pan's Flight and Minnie Adventures Winnie the Pooh during that early entry on your first day, if you use Tiana's for your tier one, I think with the age of your kids that, and just because it's a fun one, I think Buzz would be a great tier two pick. Shannon, what about you?
I was thinking about Tomorrowland for the second Magic Kingdom day, maybe.
Okay. Okay, then maybe Pirates and Haunted Mansion.
Yeah. So basically, what we are doing is focusing on the left side of the park as you go in. Fantasyland over to the left, which means Frontierland, Adventureland, and that's where Tiana's is. That's where Pirates is, and Haunted Mansion, and so it kind of keeps them located somewhat close together. And then since you have two Magic Kingdom days, you could do more Tomorrowland on that day.
Yeah.
So a friend who'd put this together, she'd mapped out Tomorrowland and Fantasyland on our first day, and then the other two on the second day. But you're saying maybe flip those?
The reason that we don't do that is that early entry is only Tomorrowland and Fantasyland. So
Yeah.
if you rope drop one on day one and rope drop the other on day two, then you get to rope drop both lands. If you put them both on the same day, you only get to rope drop one. Does that make sense?
Okay, so sorry. Which are the two I should pair together? Tomorrowland would be paired with.
Well, we're just saying the left side of the park. So Fantasyland and Adventureland, Frontierland, Liberty Square, like
Yeah, and then generally for the day two, even though we're only saying like Tomorrowland is you're starting there, and we're not necessarily pairing it with any other lands, we like to keep that kind of flexible in case there was anything on your first day that you missed, number one, or number two, your kids fall in love with something and you need to make sure that you have time for them to try to get to ride something again or see something again. So pairing Tomorrowland with rewriting the things that you want to ride and Liberty Square, like, which is in a very, very big area, but it maximizes the opportunity for flexibility, I think, which I think
Yeah.
is something that's important to people in your party who are traveling.
Got it. I think I got it. And I think we were maybe thinking that that second Magic Kingdom day we wouldn't rope drop, that people would just be tired. But maybe not. Not if we rope drop and then go home earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, you might be okay. So hopefully that makes sense. We're basically doing everything on this first day except Tomorrowland and, well, I was going to say Main Street, but we're just focusing on the non-Tomorrowland sections.
Okay, on the first day.
Yeah.
Got it.
And there are lots of ways to do it, but this is one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I have for the first day is you buy the Lightning Lane single pass for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. You book Tiana's Pirates and Haunted Mansion as part of your Lightning Lane multi-pass. And then I just started making notes for the second day since we started talking about it. Buy Lightning Lane single pass for Tron,
Yeah.
maybe on the second Magic Kingdom day. And then we can talk about booking other Lightning Lanes this day as well. But if you do rope drop, you could rope drop Space Mountain and Buzz. Maybe you don't ride Space, but maybe other people do.
Yeah. Okay. And then the Tron, maybe put that when the 5-year-old's doing Bippity Bop.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a great. I'm going to book Lightning Lane during the BBB appointment.
That's a very, very good plan.
Multitask. Okay, so I mean, while I have the Magic Kingdom graphic up, we could talk about it. And I'll say one of the tricky parts about having to pre-book things is you don't necessarily know what everyone's going to fall in love with while
Yeah.
you're there. So if you've got a kid that's like just obsessed with Buzz Lightyear, okay, that's a pretty easy one to get to repeat. But some of these are a little bit harder because the lines grow.
Yeah.
Okay. So then on day 2 for Lightning Lanes, what would we do here?
And day 1, you said we're rope dropping Peter Pan and Winnie the Pooh.
Yes.
And I'm going to send you the spreadsheet that I'm filling out so
Oh,
that you
awesome.
can refer to it if you don't want to write fast.
I'm trying, but my handwriting is not great. So.
No,
This will be better.
that's okay. I'm typing because I like the structure of it. So on day 2, picking a tier 1, what do you think?
It puts them back over in Adventureland, but if Jungle Cruise is a must do, because it's a classic one, the line gets atrocious very quickly. Maybe throwing Jungle Cruise in as the tier 1 if you're going to rope drop Space. If you think you aren't going to want to ride Jungle Cruise, or that you don't want to be there right at rope drop, I would do Space for your tier 1. If Space is a must do for you.
Okay, I'm gonna put that as option. Book Jungle Cruise or Space as tier 1. And then we have a couple of other options for tier 2s. We have a whole list down here. These are a little bit easier to get on though without any Lightning Lane if you want.
Yeah, or as bonus ones.
Yes, absolutely perfect bonus ones. Because even if it just saves you 30 or 45 minutes in line, that is 30 or 45 minutes. You don't have to stand
Yeah.
Yeah.
and wait.
Is there anything that you recommend we do at night in this park in terms of the rides?
Tron is one of them.
Okay. Oh, okay. So maybe
I
not-
know.
Yes, okay, but it's literally maybe, I don't know, 5 seconds where being in the dark is going to have an impact for you. I think for you, scheduling it when your 5-year-old is doing her appointment makes more sense than pushing it
Okay.
off to the nighttime, personally.
Well, then maybe like there's a chance on the first, like if whatever day we end up there late, maybe there's a chance we get it then too, and they get to do it twice.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Are you saying
Code.
yes? But you're like, she doesn't know
Well,
what she's talking about.
yeah, I mean,
Right.
but you would have to pre-book that one. That's a
Yeah.
single pass.
Oh,
So
right.
you
Okay.
would be buying it, you would be buying it for like one time in the daytime and one time at nighttime,
Got
which
it.
is a little bit much. Um,
But
yeah.
the other, if we're not rope dropping space, that could be another one for them to do when we're doing.
Yes. Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. That's Magic Kingdom. We've spent some time talking about that. So let's talk about Epcot. This one is really easy with lightning lanes, I think.
Okay.
Really easy. So do you think we've got the 3 tier ones here, Frozen Ever After, Remy's, and Test Track. And plus Guardians is a single pass, which is separate, but I assume all those are of interest to you?
Okay, so I know for Epcot, my dad said he wants to do Test Track.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so just like with Magic Kingdom, we're going to suggest booking some of these as lightning lanes and rope dropping some of them.
Yeah.
So whatever you don't have a lightning lane for, we would suggest going there for a rope drop because those are the 2 best ways to avoid long waits. You'll be coming from the front of the park, so we would probably suggest booking Remy's because
Okay.
it's at the back of the park and it's going to take a while to get back there. But if you have a lightning lane, you don't have to worry about getting there quickly.
Okay.
Let's see. And Guardians is of interest to you guys, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a good ride if you don't get motion sick.
Okay, so not for me.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Guardians is so fun, but it makes Heather so sick.
Yeah. I've never felt more queasy.
Okay. And I'm looking at our friend had suggested to rope drop Frozen. And then
We would
Test Track. Oh,
in
just
turn
that.
in terms of rope dropping, we would suggest Test Track first and then Frozen.
I think she was recommending we split up, like those
Oh,
more
okay.
adventurous do Test Track. Can I do Test Track? Like, what's that one going to be like?
It's a car ride,
Oh, okay.
like a 60-mile-an-hour Corvette or convertible, not Corvette.
Yeah.
Okay, so rope drop, but you might want to all ride
Yeah.
all of them.
And we're all big enough for that.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So if you rope drop, Test Track, and Frozen After, that would be 2 headliners done. And then you have a lightning lane for Remy's. So that's another headliner that you would have secured for whenever you get back to that part of the park. And then I might suggest doing like Soarin' and Living with the Land as tier 2s because they're in the same building. And so you can just kind of go there
Okay.
and have both, ready for you without waits.
Okay.
And then definitely try for Spaceship Earth as a bonus one. It's not usually too difficult to get. So as soon as you have tapped into whichever one you end up writing first during the day, go try for that Spaceship Earth one because
Okay.
it's a classic and it's a good one for all of you guys.
Yes. Epcot is so useful for some of these like B tier rides. It's like Spaceship Earth isn't top priority, but if you can skip a 45-minute line there, great. Get a lightning lane. So that can be super helpful. And then do you have plans or thoughts about Epcot outside of the rides while we're talking about Epcot?
Yeah, no, I think that's always been like I hadn't even thought about rides at Epcot originally. So I think we'll just go and explore.
Yeah, it's a great park for that. There's the Journey of Water, which
Yeah.
I think your 5-year-old would probably really enjoy.
Okay.
You're there during Flower and Garden, so you've got all the gardens and the topiaries and the butterfly garden. Of course, the Epcot has a nighttime show. I like it. But I like Magic Kingdom's better. So if
Okay.
you're burning out and you, like you said, you don't know what you don't know, if you have to miss that one, well, it would, it just gives you something to look for on your next trip, which maybe you'll
Okay.
want to do after you have a super successful first trip.
No,
Someone suggested.
it's her one and done, Heather.
That was I too had a one and done.
Me too. And here we are 20 years later.
I'm going to tell you because we know people who go back over and over. So I am like so excited to figure out why they keep going back, like, to understand it. Someone has suggested doing Spaceship Earth at night because it lights up. Do you? No. Okay. Doesn't matter.
I mean,
No.
you can see it lit up at night, even if you're not riding it.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, you'll be able to see it from anywhere.
All right. So just get it when we can get it.
Yes, and if you're closer, you'll actually get to, like, they have a little light show that they show, and you'll hear it, but you can see it from anywhere you can see Spaceship Earth.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Epcot should feel a little bit easier for
Yeah.
you after Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Relatively speaking, it is simple. But let's talk real simple though.
Yes.
Good. 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 And this is our first day, so we're easing into it.
Okay.
Second day. Our second day.
Yes, it is your second day. It's going to feel really easy after you do Magic Kingdom. So here there are no tiers. So you don't have to worry about tier 1, tier 2. You just can pick things. And as we said with the other parks, we want to rope drop something important and book lightning lanes for something important. So I would say my favorite way is to buy the lightning lane single pass for Flight of Passage,
Yeah.
book Navi River Journey as a multi-pass lightning lane. So you've got your Pandoras already secure if you want. And then you can go on some other things. Or you can rope drop Navi River Journey and then come back to use your single pass for Flight of Passage, something like that. Expedition Everest is a big coaster. Just a warning.
Okay. Do you think of the 5-year-old would like it though?
5-year-olds are usually tall enough and they are sometimes a little spooked by it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is a decent portion of it that you'll be able to see from the outside, which they can at least see what they're getting into before they go get in the line, which might help a little bit, might help them make their decision. But out of all of your days, if there is a day that you really don't want to rope drop, if you choose to buy multi-pass and single pass here, it's a good day to not feel like you have to get there right at rope drop, just because it's an easier one to tour.
Okay. And it's our first day, so I feel like we're going into it fresh. And I know it's better in the morning for the animals, but
Yes.
like we have the full day. So
It's your day after Magic Kingdom though. So
you're right. I keep confusing. You're right. We might be tired.
Yeah.
We
So
Yes.
if you
Okay.
stay up for your fireworks the night before and you're
Yeah.
like, you know what, we really just can't hit the ground running tomorrow. If you need that extra hour of sleep and you want to show up a little bit later, with multi-pass and single pass, you'll be okay.
so easy because if you book Kilimanjaro Safari, Navi River Journey, Expedition Everest as part of multi-pass and then Flight of Passage as a single pass, that's all the rights. Like that's pretty much all the
Okay.
rights. And then
Okay.
everything else is shows pretty much. And
Looking at
It's-
the
And if
animals,
we-
enjoying it, the park itself.
If we know that we have that reservation at 5:15 at Tusker House, like we're going to be there all day. Do you think that maybe it makes sense to just not stress about rope dropping, still get there early, but and just go at a little bit of a slower pace that morning?
yeah,
I don't think it's a bad idea.
yeah. I think for your case, and it would make your family not feel like it was so regimented, maybe. And then the next day after that, you have a break day. So that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
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 Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and write down what
Sounds
to
like
book.
here, spend the money for the lightning lane so that we can go into it a little bit more relaxed.
Yes.
Shannon likes to use the word frictionless.
That's a great
Which
word.
Heather doesn't like that
I
word very
don't like
much.
that word, but I am going to embrace it in this instance because I think it really is the best way to describe what
Yeah.
we're trying to do is to help create a little bit more frictionless trip.
What
Yeah.
time do you think we should really aim to get there, though?
I mean, you could arrive late morning.
Yeah, I don't think late morning would
I
be
don't want to miss
bad.
the animals though. That's my priority. They'll still be there.
Yep.
But yes, and book your Kilimanjaro safaris as your first one of the day, so you're doing
Okay.
it as early in the day as you can. Um, because really, that time of year, and
Yep.
you're the only ones that aren't as active probably are going to be the lions. They're the
But
ones that,
they sleep anyway.
yeah, they sleep anyway. It's in all my trips and all my times I've been on Kilimanjaro safaris, the number of times I've actually seen the lions, it's very small. So
Okay.
they're there. Sometimes they're just asleep.
Okay. So
But
start there mid to late morning.
yes, yeah,
Yes, I think that would be nice, like
mhm,
flow wise. Easier day, and then you'll have your day off,
Yeah.
and then you're back to the parks.
Yeah.
And you have 3 park days in a row after that. So
We do. We do.
it won't hurt to have some downtime to refuel. We do have one more park to talk about in terms of lightning lanes, which is Hollywood Studios. Are you guys show people by chance?
Yeah, like I want to see some of the shows.
mhm,
And I think everyone will enjoy it. But again, nobody really knows what they're missing if we don't get to something. I've heard that the evening show there is good, and then where's like the Frozen show everybody talks about
Yeah, Frozen Sing
at
Along.
this park?
yeah,
Okay.
yes, and
Okay, so
it's really good too.
I'm told that's worth it for everybody.
It is.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's hilarious. Sometimes for simplicity, what I like to talk about with Hollywood Studios Lightning Lanes is book all of the Toy Story rides, the Toy Story Land rides, because Slinky Dog Dash is tier 1, Alien Swirling Saucers is tier 2, and Toy Story Main is tier 2. And so it's just like, okay, we've got that land booked. now,
Okay.
now let's go do some other stuff around the parks and then try to hit those sort of in a row. Like for simplicity, that's one way to do it.
Do you think Slinky Dog is that one to do in the evening, or does it not matter?
It is fun at night because it has lights on it and stuff, and you kind of get some views when you're
Yeah.
going up and down the hills. But the downside of booking one of your pre-booked lightning lanes in the evening is that it sort of locks that option up,
Okay.
right? Because once you tap into one, then you can book another one. And so if you have one later in the day, sometimes it's like, well, okay, that's one I'm not going to be able to churn through today
mhm,
because it's sort of set.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would do the 3 Toy Story Land ones. And then
Okay.
rope drop, other things. Because most people, or a lot of people, are going to be running rope drop to Slinky Dog Dash. So you just can skip that.
Yeah.
You don't need to run there if you have a lightning lane.
Okay.
Okay, so Rise of the Resistance. Are you guys Star Wars fans by chance?
My dad and husband are.
ah,
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So they'll want to do some of that. My dad wants to ride Millennium Falcon.
okay,
I'm using acronyms when I write this out, and I hate the aliens swirling saucers acronym. Okay. All the Toy Story Land rides. Okay. So then I would suggest getting the Lightning Lane single pass for Rise of the Resistance. It's a great ride. I'm not
that
even a
one
Star Wars.
For everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not even a Star Wars person, but that ride's pretty amazing because it's very unique.
Okay. Cool.
Rope drop. I would rope drop. Most people are headed to Rise of Resistance and Slinky Dog Dash at park opening. But if you already have lightning lanes for those, no need to go with the crowds. So Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway
Yeah.
and Tower of Terror. Those are good ones.
yeah.
Okay.
And Mickey and Minnie's is I think is that's a good start to your day.
Okay.
No, because nobody's going to get scared on it. Tower of Terror is a little intense, and if your 5-year-old didn't want to necessarily ride it, then they would be kind of waiting for other people to ride things. So that one might be a good one to do. Is just to start with that one at rope drop.
Okay, and then we can decide in the moment if she wants to do it or not.
Yes, yeah, for Tower Terror when you
Yeah.
when you go to do that one. And in Tower Terror also doesn't tend to be too difficult to get a bonus lightning lane for. So after you tap into your first lightning lane, if you haven't gotten Tower Terror ridden yet, you can try to snag one of those.
Okay.
And there, in addition to those, like Shannon was saying, the shows, I think the Frozen show is great. The new Villain show is also fantastic
Okay.
and is definitely worthy of a visit, especially since it's indoors, air conditioned, it's got live performers. You get off your feet for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's all good things there.
Okay.
Okay, so while we've had the lightning lane graphics up, I've been typing away over here on the spreadsheet. So
Because
some,
the other thing I'm mindful of is this is the extended hours night.
yes.
And I guess like, do we really need like if we fly out the next day, like how important are those hours? Do we take a, is this like easier to take a break during the day? What should we do here?
It is pretty late. I think the biggest perk would be if you guys fall in love with some of the headliners and it's just hard to go on them again because of the wait times. Then you'd be, if you feel up to it, you can be like, hey, let's just do extended evening theme park hours and we'll head over there and redo that attraction. I would keep it as back pocket information.
Yeah.
Okay.
To be honest, we often are there and can do extended evening theme park hours and we rarely do because it's like, oh no, we're so tired. I don't want to stay up till midnight tonight.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like you were saying, if I also feel like sometimes Hollywood Studios feels extra hot, and I don't know why, but I feel that way about Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom. So if you do decide maybe it makes more sense for us to take a break and then
Yeah.
come back, at dinner, after dinner, you do have, like Shannon said, you've got that back pocket time that you can fill in the gaps for anything that you want to write again, or if you actually missed something and you want the opportunity to write it, you would have that. You wouldn't have to necessarily push as hard. And going back too gives you an opportunity to start getting your stuff gathered up,
Yeah.
pack a little bit so that you're not rushing around after you're done with your whole day.
Realistically, how long do you think it would take us to get out of the park, back to Saratoga Springs, and then back out later?
So you had two things. One you talked about earlier, which is your resort isn't really located near a park. It's close to Disney Springs. So you've got the travel time, but Saratoga Springs has a lot of internal bus stops.
Okay.
So when you're coming and going, you're going to be going to all those bus stops.
Yeah. Yeah.
It depends on where you're at inside of Saratoga Springs as to how long that will take.
Right. Okay.
We do end up using minivans when we stay at Saratoga Springs because minivans can pick you up wherever you are, like at your room. You don't have to go to a certain stop for it. It's at your room and drive you right to the parks, including right to the front of Magic Kingdom, which is the only cars that are allowed up there that close. And so sometimes we're like, we just want to go to Magic Kingdom. So let's book a minivan and it'll get us there in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
As an emergency option, it's great. Also, as a Heather's really tired option.
Heather's default option might be minivans.
Yeah. Okay. That's helpful. But maybe we end up not keeping that dinner reservation at the park. Like if we're going to road trip, there's no way we're going to make it all the way through the night.
Yeah, yes, I could see where it might be a better idea to go ahead and drop that, and that way you don't have to come back by a certain time.
Yeah.
So if you rope drop, you go back for a few hours and chill out, cool off, and then you can mosey your way back at the end of the evening. Or maybe not everybody wants to go back at the end of the
Yeah.
evening.
It'd probably be a divide and conquer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I also want to bring up something before we finish up here, which is something you may not have thought about for your 5-year-old in a long time, but a stroller.
Yeah, I've wondered. Everyone says get the stroller. I wondered. I think we might. Do you think we need to make a plan for that or just kind of see how it's going?
E-
Okay, there's pros and cons to planning and versus just seeing how it's going. If your option is to see how it's going, you're limited to probably only getting an in-park stroller, which would fit her, I'm guessing, rather well because they are larger. They're not super comfortable, and you can't take it from the park, so you can only use it inside the park, right?
Yeah.
If you choose to make a plan ahead of time and rent one, you would have that stroller available when you're wandering around Saratoga Springs, when you're going from the park to the bus stop. You're not having to kick your 5-year-old out at the gate saying, okay, you have to walk now when they're exhausted and the last thing they want to do is get up and walk in that moment. So it kind of depends on which way you feel. We do have an article with all the pros and cons of the different vendors that have strollers, including Disney's strollers. So you can see the price comparison, what size might work, and maybe figure out which is going to be best. Because there's truly no right answer and no wrong one. It's just what's going to be best for you guys.
Okay.
It's,
Well,
it's just something that surprises people that have kids that are kind of outgrown strollers, but it's like, yeah, but can they walk a half marathon every day?
right,
You know?
right.
But it gives you a place to put your stuff as a bonus.
Well, that's the thing about strollers. Then I've thought about that. I was like, man, it was like really nice when we had the stroller because you can store your stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Don't leave anything valuable in it, but if you have
Yeah.
extra waters or whatever, you're taking snacks, yeah, put them in the bottom of the stroller and you don't have to schlep it on your back.
Everyone says get the popcorn bucket, and I'm like, sure, but where am I going to put it all day?
Uh-huh.
Exactly. We don't tend to buy those because we don't have a stroller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it in your stroller.
But
Yeah.
you do have to collapse the stroller every time you get on the bus. So just keep that in mind because you'll be on buses a lot and you've got to be able to, you know,
Collapse
Yeah.
it. But if you have a lot, you've got 6 people and several of them will be old enough to help carry the things. When it's time to collapse it, you'd have plenty of people to hand off bags to, which makes
Yeah.
it a little bit less stressful than if you're traveling solo and you're trying to collapse a stroller and take everything out of it and get the little one out of the stroller. So,
Okay. Do you think with Saratoga Springs, I would imagine we're 2 weeks out, we really can't change that. But like if we could, what would you recommend?
with 6 people, it's tricky.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Because like the regular rooms at Deluxes are up to 5 people and you wouldn't have separate bedrooms like for your dad and stuff. Maybe 2 rooms at
Yeah.
one of the hotels where they could be adjoining or near each other.
But also I don't let
stress.
Yes, don't let this be the thing that stresses you out or makes you think that your trip is not going to be great because it's going to be great. Thousands of people stay at Saratoga Springs every day and they love it, and thousands plus people own there because they love it so much. It has a great pool. You're going to have so much space, which is going to make things easier. You're going to have a washer and dryer, which means you don't have to pack as much. And if you have an accident and you need to get some stains out of clothes, you're going to be able to do that. A full kitchen. The inconveniences that you're going to encounter every day for the travel aspect are going to fade from your memory quickly, I promise. And you're going to only remember all the good things that you're doing and all the fun and happy times that you guys are going to share. And where you stayed is not going to matter as much. And next time, because again, if there is a next time, you'll get to the opportunity to try someplace else, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would lean into the chill vibe of Saratoga on your non-park time because
1000%.
it's quiet, it's beautiful. There's good food that is not hard to get. You don't have to make dining reservations like if you don't want to. It's nice, but but there's pros and cons of every single place. There's no one perfect place to stay because everything has pros and cons.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it'll be great. And my husband likes to run, and I think there's some.
Oh, perfect. Yes.
So, yeah.
So much fun to run there.
Yes, one of our friends is a runner, and that's her favorite place to stay for running.
Yeah. So that'll be good for our off
Yes.
day. The one
No.
opportunity there will be to run.
Because he's not
Yes.
going to have enough steps in during the rest of the trip.
Right.
Heather is also a runner, so she has to think about these things as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, you've done a good job getting your plans started. Hopefully we feel more prepared now for your Lightning Lane booking.
Yes. Thank you so much for putting that spreadsheet together. I am excited to look it over with my husband. And then a week from today, we'll be ready to book it all.
Yay.
Okay, I
good
will
luck.
email it to you so you have it, and good luck booking.
Thank you. And thank you again so much for this opportunity and for your guidance. It'll be great.
Okay, thanks, Sarah. Have a great